Hello, I'm Carissa Johnson. I'm the current at-large representative on Cary Town Council. One term under my belt, and I'm running for re-election for a second term. My favorite thing about Cary really boils down to what Cary is to me. So I've been here almost 30 years. I've moved here in my early 20s, and I grew up along with Cary. So it sort of changed shapes and it's become something new, but still incredibly familiar today. I tell people all the time, I worked at Cary Town Center Mall, right? I worked at Spinnaker's. I worked at several companies that were based here in Cary. My daughter went to Cary Elementary, Cary High School. She was born in Lake Mad, Cary. So for me, my favorite thing, if I had to pick one about Cary, is how it really has grown up right along with it. And I feel like, just like me, we've gotten better with age. I have been preparing to run for office virtually my entire adult life. My father, one of the reasons I hyphenate my name is to honor my father. So I was raised by what I often refer to as a Reagan Republican, Merrick Kohn, that was my dad, and he raised me to be a patriot, an absolute country-loving patriot, and taught me what all these things about international politics and, his experience in the military and his experience with reading every single newspaper that he could get his paws on. So all those years growing up, talking to my dad about these things culminated in me being very interested in running for office and giving back. My father was a veteran. My grandfather was a veteran, right? My way of giving back is to try to serve as a public servant. And what I feel is important to note is that it's also a little bit uncomfortable for me. While I'm a very outgoing person, it's very vulnerable. So there's a lot of look at me, listen to me involved in running for office. And that, I think I would have done it sooner if I wasn't worried about that. And just how that would feel. And sometimes it feels not so great. Sometimes it's fantastic because you get people's attention and you can really say things that might help others who don't really have so much of a voice and aren't quite as outgoing. So that's what made me want to run for office. I think it's just something, I've always wanted to do. And the time was right, particularly I saw a lot of my neighbors leaving downtown and wanted to get involved and see how I could help make sure that the revitalization here in Cary didn't tip entirely over into gentrification. I've been living just a few blocks from the Cary Arts Center here downtown for almost 20 years. My daughter went to Cary Elementary School right behind me. She went to Cary High right up the road. To me, there's no place where I'm going to be more comfortable or familiar than right here in the core of downtown Cary. And I honestly, this is one of my dog's favorite places to sniff. So I do spend a lot of time here. So when you needed a quiet place to maybe film and have a conversation with me, this is really the first place that popped into my head. But this is definitely one of my comfort places. I have difficulty saying no, so I volunteer a lot. So, and I don't mean to say that in a way that makes it sound like it's a burden, because it's not. I absolutely love it. I do serve as guardian ad litem for District 10 Wake Court here in Wake County. And I also serve on the North Carolina Multi-Sector Plan for Aging as a work group chair, working on the housing work group there. And becoming a guardian ad litem, that's something that I was very keen to do. Once my daughter got older, she didn't, she's a very self-sufficient young woman. Once she didn't need a lot of my time, I felt like, I could make the biggest difference to individual children by advocating for them in court and trying to be part of the solution to, a lot of the things that happen, the challenges for kids who end up in foster care. Those are the things that I do, kind of the serious things. But aside from that, I'll be honest with you, I'm a pretty goofy person. I do love to laugh and have a good time. I seem to spend a lot of time playing cards. I feel like I'm turning into my parents. So my partner Donovan and I, we play a lot of cards. And, when I was younger, I did things like play softball and all those kinds of things. But at this point, it really is walking my dog, really walking. I walk a lot. And just trying to really have downtime because a lot of the things I deal with are pretty serious. So if you find me not in work mode, a lot of times you'll see me really trying to have a good time in my free time. I don't leave Cary. I rarely leave Cary. If I leave Cary, it's to get on an airplane. So that's really when it comes to what do I do for fun? I travel. One of my goals in life is to set foot on every continent. I think the thing I'm most proud of is an accomplishment, really, that is an accomplishment for somebody else. So I did study gerontology. I do have a lot of interest in, a lot of passion for folks that are aging and their needs, and making sure that, like, other vulnerable populations, we make sure that we're taking care of the folks that built what we have here, make sure they can stay in the community, age in place. So one of the things I'm most proud of really is this new role we have. We have a program manager for seniors and aging here in Cary. She happens to be somebody that I was very keen for the town to hire. She used to be my supervisor at the guardian ad litem office with the Wake County court system, and I got to know her as an incredibly effective, very smart, very passionate person, Michelle Barrett. So it's her accomplishments, what she's working to get done, that I'm most proud of. She's doing the work, but it really, I think, it's important for people to understand that a lot of times things don't get started, things don't happen unless somebody really champions that thing. And so my championing of programs and different things to support the seniors here in Cary, we're getting older. We're, I believe at this point now, the oldest municipality by average in Wake County. And nobody leaves Cary. So I think we're going to just continue to see the needs for folks that are aging here in Cary grow and grow. One of the top changes and improvements I would like to see, not just in Cary, but really everywhere in this area in particular, is a greater urgency when it comes to managing stormwater. Now, here in Cary, we have some of the best stormwater policies and some of the best regulations in the state, if not the Southeast. We have really robust infrastructure. The challenge is with climate change, that infrastructure still, in my opinion, could be undersized. So what I don't want to do is react to flooding events and do a larger size, more right-sized infrastructure. What I'd like to see is a lot of partnership with our developers, with folks that are redoing things here in Cary, when they're redeveloping, when they're doing infill projects, when they can come in and do some really great green stormwater and really more robust stormwater infrastructure with those projects. Yeah, that's one of the bigger challenges we have, particularly with infill housing projects, infill development of any kind, especially when it's mixed use. Our infrastructure, there's a lot of places where we just can't expand it. We can't widen the roads. We can't add turning lanes easily where we need to. So one of the things I advocate for, and this is me personally, and I would never speak for my council colleagues, I think we have an opportunity to consider some surgical, precise upzoning. And I know a lot of times when I say I want to upzone in Cary, people panic a little. But the real goal, in my opinion, is to have density where the infrastructure can handle it. What I'd like to see is areas where we're really encouraging the density, we're encouraging the infill, we're encouraging the growth, and especially when it comes to height on buildings, in areas where we have the infrastructure already there to support it, and where it won't be, I would say, in any way detrimental to the community that's already existing, especially around those heritage neighborhoods. We've got some places in Cary that I think are really appropriate, where we do have the infrastructure or the ability to enhance the infrastructure. I have absolutely no plans when it comes to mitigating traffic problems. And I know that sounds like a surprising answer, but here's the truth. I do not have expertise when it comes to traffic. We have staff that has an exceptional amount of expertise when it comes to traffic. So, when somebody asks me how I'm going to solve the parking problem or how I'm going to handle the traffic challenges, my immediate answer is always, you don't want me managing those things. There are things that I know a great deal about. Get me talking about stormwater and you'll see that's where I've done the deep dive and that's where I have the knowledge. But when it comes to traffic management, when it comes to any kind of driving infrastructure, that's where I'm always going to defer to our staff. Our transportation department is the best of the best. Now, of course, we do have a hand in policy, but the truth is that kind of technical expertise is not something that I have. So here in Cary, mass transportation to me really means bus, and it means train. And we have already a pretty terrific infrastructure when it comes to bus. We're still adding routes. Our Go Cary system is pretty for a town our size and for the level of ridership we currently have. I think it's really ahead of where we need it to be. So I'm pretty proud of that. There are some areas where we need to add some routes, and staff is working on that. And I think our town is going to mature into our Go Cary system. But we also have, as you know, we've been stopped here filming a couple of times. We have trains that come through Cary. We have a depot that exists that is commuter trains. I have taken the train from right here in downtown Cary to downtown Charlotte when my daughter was a student at UNC Charlotte. But what we're doing is planning a multimodal center just a few blocks away. And that's important for three reasons. One, it'll make it much more convenient, easy to park, and a lot more amenities nearby for individuals using any of the mass transportation options that'll be available. But also it'll solve the problem, which I can tell you, I know when all the trains come, because you got to know when to avoid trying to cross the tracks here downtown. So we do have traffic backups that happen occasionally. Now that there's more people driving downtown and visiting downtown, it's becoming a little bit more of a challenge. So by moving the multimodal center so that the trains no longer block the streets in downtown Cary, that'll also solve some of the accessibility issues coming in and out of downtown. So I really have high hopes that once we move to the multimodal center, that we will also see a lot more, let's call it enthusiasm for expanding the mass transit options to come and go from Cary and keep us really connected to the surrounding municipalities. One, we've got to increase supply. We absolutely need to build more housing. We're thousands and thousands of housing units under where we need to be today. Two, we have vulnerable populations that really, that's what keeps me up at night. We have seniors who can't comfortably age in place. We have folks that want to downsize and can't. We have younger people who'd like to have a homeownership opportunity that's every year gets further and further and further out of their grasp. So we have all these challenges, and there's a lot of people who really can't say, I'm secure in my housing. I know that I'm going to be able to keep a comfortable, secure roof over my head or my family's head. So we need to make sure that we are supporting, especially the nonprofit partners. We have them here in Cary, Dorcas Ministries. We've got the Carrying Place. We've got Habitat for Humanity coming in and doing really incredible builds. So they need a lot of support from us. But that third piece of that puzzle, while we have programs with the town, we have programs, a rehab program, a relocation program, Stable Homes Cary, and Healthy Homes Cary. We have programs like that. What we really need to do as a municipality, in my opinion, is make sure that we are driving some of those partnerships so that we're working like we did on Southwest Maynard, where we're working with a nonprofit partner, where we're invested as, we brought the land, right? And we're making sure to create opportunities for secure housing in Cary. To keep the town of Cary on firm financial footing, one of the things I champion and I'm really passionate about is making sure that we don't dip into our reserve fund. In the past, we had a lot of increases in revenue coming in, so it was pretty easy to replenish that money if there was reasons to move a little bit out of the fund. Not that it was done irresponsibly, simply mean it was a little bit more simple. Now I have a bit more pessimism when it comes to our sales tax revenue. So I am just assuming it's going to flatten or if not dip a little bit. So I'm really uncomfortable touching our reserve fund. I'm really uncomfortable doing anything that could hurt our AAA bond rating as well. That's something that, hey, if we need to issue debt later, we may need to make absolute sure that we're paying the least amount of interest possible. That's just good financial stewardship. Just a good example of how I approach money and how, sometimes fairly conservatively is with our local elections being in October. I spearheaded the effort to move them to November. And one of the main reasons I wanted to do that is because I felt as though the process was more volatile than it needed to be with the runoffs. But also, it costs a lot of extra money to be the only municipality that has a standalone election in October, and voter turnout was abysmal. So between, me wanting to increase voter turnout, but also really wanting to save, which turns out to be around $700,000 every 2 years, that's a lot of money, right? There's no really good reason not to explore those types of money savings if they're not, detrimental to quality of services here in Cary. Another financial approach that I really believe in is rate smoothing. When our property taxes vary, a lot, it doesn't help people plan for the future. It doesn't help people who are using their escrow accounts to pay their taxes. It doesn't help people who, are really living a little bit more paycheck to paycheck. Even homeowners that are really comfortable in their income, none of them enjoy seeing a surprise large bill come in the mail when it comes time for property taxes. So I'm a very big believer that we should endeavor to rate smooth. So we know we can project out into the future what we believe we're going to need. And I think we can take a very simple approach and try to keep our tax rate from waxing and waning significantly. And so to make sure that we continue to fund all the services here in Cary at the level that our citizens want us to, without any surprises in their tax bill. I do have a lot of concerns for folks that are dependent on SNAP benefits. Food insecurity is something that happens in every community, including Cary. Here on council, we have a lot of staff members, council members, and community members that all support local nonprofits that really fill that gap. Our partner and wonderful partner, Dorcas Ministries. Dorcas has a food pantry, and they help administer a lot of the programs for the town of Cary. They're just one example of where this private partner, private, public, and nonprofit partnership benefits the community, in general, partnering with outside organizations that can help folks that are experiencing food insecurity. That's something I believe is really important for us to do, especially when it comes to funding. That being said as well, I should mention that as a Democrat, one of the important things that I can do to help support the effort to keep SNAP benefits in place for those that need it is to support colleagues that are fighting that fight. As a candidate, one of the things I like to draw to people's attention so they can understand who I am as a human is my support for Habitat for Humanity projects here in Cary. We have a lot of folks that want to become a homeowner in Cary. A lot of folks that don't have the opportunity I've had. I was able to buy my house back in 2007. It was in the affordable part of town. As a matter of fact, there were some existing Habitat for Humanity homes in my neighborhood. So I'm one of those lucky few, right, who got to have an affordable downtown Cary property. But today, that challenge for others is almost insurmountable in a lot of cases. So for that reason, I am such a big supporter of the work that Habitat for Humanity is doing, and I think there's other homeownership opportunities out there, especially with some nonprofit partners, that we should explore as a municipality. And the folks that lead here locally and all of the area municipalities, I think there is this really great organization, here and there and everywhere, and we need to be really proactive in working with them. I believe that there is a lot of work still to be done, obviously, for folks that are renting, but there's also a lot we can do to try to create those homeownership opportunities. And so that's something that I have a passion for and really want to tell people, hey, you know what? If you've got an idea, reach out to me. I'd love to work on that.